All right, today we're going to the vast, lonely plains of Venezuela, a place they call Liliano. Now, this is a land where the horizon just stretches on forever. And the stories feel as real and as gritty as the dust on the road. And tonight, we're digging into one of its absolute most chilling legends.
So picture this. The sun is bleeding out across the sky, painting everything red. You've got a lone traveler walking down a dusty path. He's tired, he's sweaty, and he's just trying to get to a party. But as that twilight settles in, the world gets quiet, really still, and things start to get a little creepy.
So our traveler, he flags down a local guy, a llanero, one of the plainsmen from the region, and asks for directions to a fiesta nearby. But what he gets isn't just directions. It's a piece of advice, a really ominous warning about the path he's about to take.
El Silbón, the whistler. And the traveler? He just scoffs. To him, it's just a name from some old spooky story, the kind of thing you tell kids to scare them. He doesn't buy it for a second. But the local man, he's not letting it go. He insists. This isn't just some story. He says it exists, sir, and very much so. And to really drive the point home, he decides to tell him the horrifying story of where this creature actually came from. I mean, what could possibly happen to turn a person into a monster, so feared that its very name is a warning, whispered at dusk? Well, the Llanero explains that before El Silbón was a monster, he was a man, or more accurately, just a boy. And it is a tragic, absolutely brutal tale. There was this spoiled son who demanded his father go hunt a deer because he wanted to eat the entrails. When his father came back empty-handed, the boy, just in a fit of pure rage, murdered him, cut out his organs himself. And when his own mother found out what he'd done, she cursed him to wander the plains for all of eternity, a lost soul carrying his father's bones in a sack on his back. You'd think, after hearing a grim story like that, a story of murder and eternal damnation, our traveler might pause. But nope, he's still not convinced. And this right here sets up that classic conflict, right? The modern, rational mind bumping up against this deep, local belief. And here you can really see the two sides of it. For the traveler, this is all just superstition, plain and simple. But for the storyteller, it's a truth that's woven into the very fabric of his home. It's a truth as real and as wide as the savanna itself. So, to try and break through the traveler's doubt, the storyteller gives him an example. He brings up a man named Pacheco, who is just as skeptical. The story goes, Pacheco actually fought the whistler. He survived, yeah, but he was left with this raging fever that crippled him for the rest of his life. The point being, disbelief offers you zero protection out here.
Okay, but the Pacheco story, that's still just hearsay, right? The traveler's not buying it. But the storyteller? Oh, he isn't finished. Not by a long shot. He leans in because he's about to share a story that isn't secondhand at all. It's a personal, chilling account that he saw with his own two eyes.
And so he begins his tale. It's about a man named Juan Hilario, a guy whose arrogance was about to lead him down a very dark path. On a stormy night, a night, he says, a lot like this one. Now, Juan Hilario, he was on his way to a party. Sound familiar? His friends warned him, told him to be careful with the storm and all the old legends that come out in the dark. But he just laughed it off. He called their fears nonsense and headed out all by himself into the night. As he's walking, he hears it, a whistle. It's weird, sharp, deeply unsettling. But Juan, being the braggart he is, he just dismisses it. He probably thinks it's one of his buddies just trying to spook him. But then it comes again. And this time, it is closer, it's louder, and it cuts right through the sound of the wind and the rain. And now, even Juan Hilario feels that little prickle of fear. He stops, raises his lantern, and he tries to peer into that oppressive darkness to see what's making the sound. He sees nothing, but something sees him, and in an instant, a powerful unseen blow just slams into him from behind, sending him sprawling into the mud. He lets out one scream, and then he faints. When his friends finally rushed out to find him, they only caught a fleeting glimpse of this terrifying shadow. They said it had the shape of a man wearing a hat, but it was unnaturally, impossibly tall, a creature so strange that its knees, even when it was sitting, rose up higher than its own head. Just try to picture that. When Juan Hilario finally comes to,
All that arrogance is just gone, wiped clean away, replaced by pure animal terror. He's begging his friends, "Don't leave me alone," babbling that the creature, that horrible animal, is still out there just waiting for him on the road.
And this is the twist that just silences the traveler. The storyteller looks him dead in the eye and reveals that he wasn't just retelling some old local rumor. He was the foreman on that ranch. He was one of the men who ran out to help Juan Hilario. He saw the shadow. He heard the confession. He lived this story.
Well, that does it. The traveler is just stunned into silence. His skepticism is completely shattered. And the whole conversation shifts. It's not about whether some monster is real anymore. It's about what these stories truly mean to the people who tell them.
The traveler asks, what do you call these kinds of stories? And the storyteller gives this beautiful answer: folklore. And he explains that folklore isn't just a bunch of tall tales. He says it's the very soul of the land and its people. It's their customs, their feelings, their beliefs. It's who they are.
In that one moment, the traveler goes through a complete transformation. The party is totally forgotten. His whole journey just found a brand new purpose. He decides he's not going on. He's going to stay, and he's going to write. He's going to document the very soul of the plains that, just a little while ago, he had so quickly dismissed. This whole story comes from the Venezuelan plains, yeah? But it leaves us with a thought that kind of hits closer to home. Every culture, every town has its own version of El Silbón, right? A story that tries to explain the unexplainable, that warns us about the darkness on the edge of town. So the real question I have for you is this: what legends walk on your roads at night?